Welcome to Geocache Adventures, the podcast where we explore everything geocaching. I'm your host, Shadow Dragon 1. I love geocaching. If you're listening to this, you probably love it too. If you enjoy the podcast, consider sharing it with somebody that you think would love it. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and there's a Facebook group as well, so you can join in the fun and share your adventures. There's also a Patreon page that you can join and unlock exclusive content. Hi everybody, Amy Shadow Dragon here, and with me today is Shawn from Art Ed Crafted. Thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Now I have to admit, the company name, I always get a little tongue-tied trying to say that, because I want to say Arted Crafted.
That is correct. It's Arted Crafted.
It's Arted Crafted. Okay.
Yes.
So then how come... So it is Arted Crafted.
It's
so how come the ED is capitalized?
That's an old logo. But
Okay.
the ED was capitalized because it was before this incantation of Arted Crafted. It was run and started by my wife, and she was doing other craft stuff, and her name is Eddie Renee. So that's where the ED comes from. So when we started doing this, I kind of took over as the front man of Arted Crafted, and we're doing this all together, the two of us. So we made the ED a little lowercase. That's an old logo if you're looking at the capital E and the E, that's all.
Yeah, because if you Google it lists the website as with the capital E.
I've been trying to figure out how to change that. I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, so that's funny because when I first heard of you guys, when I started geocaching, I called it Arted Crafted.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember who it was, but they corrected me. They said, no, it's Art Ed Crafted. So
it was
first. Since then, I started saying it that way, and apparently I've been saying it wrong now for years. So
don't worry, there's geocaching reviewers that still say geocaching.
That's true. Okay, well, Arted Crafted. It
right.
Still does not roll off my tongue, but that's a me problem. So anyways, I always like to ask my guests, how did you get started geocaching?
It first started, there was another vlog, a non-geocaching vlogger that we used to watch, my wife and I, and he covered modern, what do you call it, current events, and gave his fun little twist on them. Well, one day at the end of one of his episodes, he said he wasn't going to be on the next week because he and his fiance were going to Paris to go geocaching. And my wife and I are like, what's geocaching? So we just kind of did a quick Google search of what it was, and we're like, oh, this sounds fun. And that was in October of 2010. And so my wife started the account, and we found, in that first year, we found 7 caches. And we had a great time. But then we stopped because winter hit, and my wife doesn't like to go outside too much, even now. But for 2 years, we didn't find any geocaches. And then my job moved me to Iowa, and I didn't know anything about the area. So we found another website called Roadside Attractions or USA or something like that. So we typed in our zip code and found these really weird places in our area. And by accident, we found a geocache, and then it just kind of, and we're like, oh yeah, geocaching. And then we jumped back on the website, and that was in 2010, and I've just been going hardcore ever since.
How did you guys accidentally find that geocache?
We went to a place here in Iowa called the Tree in the Middle of the Road. Because it was on the list, and this tree, according to the lore, was planted by the original surveyors of the county because they ran out of official surveying sticks. So they just broke a cottonwood off and stuck it in the ground as a surveying mark, and and that's just where two roads converged. And if you know anything about cottonwood, it will plant no matter, it'll grow just about anywhere. You don't have to do anything to it. And now it's about 8 to 10 feet around and just giant, massive. But the reason I found it is because I was trying to take a picture with my wife standing at the base of the tree, and I was trying to get back far enough to get her and the tree in there. I stepped off the edge of the road and I fell into the ditch, and this little micro container was right at the base of the stop sign I was at. So it was just kind of
Oh, wow.
yeah. uh yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I didn't get hurt, but it just yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But that's a crazy way to find a
Yeah.
geocache. So, for those who may not be familiar, can you give us a general overview of what Arted Crafted is?
Arted Crafted is we design our own custom geocaching shirts. We try to avoid the most common geocaching related t-shirts that are found on the marketplace, because we feel that those are overdone, and I don't want to copy something that somebody else has done. So it all started, uh, me starting making t-shirts all started back in 2015, I think. My kids were getting, at Christmas time, a lot of people, and my family included, would buy matching pajamas for their kids, like for Christmas Eve. Well, my kids were getting too old to be able to find matching pajamas for everybody, because they were like, most of them were older teens or are in high school. And so my wife and I decided to try and make t-shirts. And we stumbled around it a little bit and made a set of t-shirts for everybody. It said like Schulte family Christmas and whatever. And we broke out our iron and ironed on the designs, and it looked nice. And then the next Christmas, we wanted to do better, and then it just snowballed. And then one Christmas, my wife decided she wanted to tell me about this device that she heard about called a Cricut machine, and we could make better Christmas t-shirts with that. And I was like, well, how much is it? And we talked about it, and I'm like, this is crazy. I'm not going to spend over $300 for this machine so I can make t-shirts just for Christmas. I thought that was ridiculous. And so I started thinking after Christmas, I was like, what can I do to make my money back off of this shirt? And I've never been in business for myself, but I just felt $300 to make one set of t-shirts was outrageous. So I came up with the design, and I wasn't very artistic, so I paid somebody else to design it, and it ended up actually being this shirt here. It's a cash and carry shirt, and you can't really see the bottom of it. Let me see. There we go. Anyway, it started out with this shirt, and we ended up I sold it on some Facebook groups that are geocaching related, and one day someone asked me if I was going to go to Geo Woodstock. This was 2019 by this time. And I was like, hadn't thought about it. And I reached out and talked with the organizers of the event. And they said, sure, come on down. Well, it won't cost you next to nothing to set up a booth. And I was like, okay. So I borrowed some money from a family member and headed on down to Geo Woodstock in 2019, and we didn't hit our goal for our sales, but we made enough to let us know that there was some interest in what we were doing. So, and it's just been snowballed ever since.
So you've been going to events for 6 years now?
Minus COVID, but yeah,
Oh, right. Yeah. That was a crazy time.
yeah.
How many events do you go to a year typically?
Let's see. Usually we start our year in March with Texas Challenge. Um, and then we do, let me think. We did Mingo, but that's an event is every 5 years, and we're going to do Mingo this year. Um, Moga we've done every year for several years. We've done Geo Woodstock every year since we started. Let's see, Midwest Geo Bash. Um, we did going caching twice, 3 times, 3 times. So usually it's right around 5 or 6. This year it's going to be, I don't have a number, but as many as we can hit this year because we did a picnic in the park in January down in Florida. We did Bamarama in Alabama, and we just did Texas Challenge a couple weeks ago. And this weekend we're doing Moga. So, yeah.
Nice. Do you get to do much caching while you're there?
In the past, no. This year is going to be different because of my employment situation. Um, I lost my job in November because the company closed. And when that happened, I talked my wife into, my wife works from home. So I told her, I said, hey, when the Florida event comes up, we should just pack up and stay down south for 3 months. And she had to reach out to her company, and that's what we did. We left Iowa and headed down to Florida in January. And we just got back like almost 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
um, now that we know her company will let her work on the road, um, we're going to try and do as many events as we can with her working on the road. I will be starting a new job on the 1st, but that is, they're going to allow me to, basically set my own schedule however I want. So, as long as I don't abuse it, I don't think they'll have a problem with me staying, you know, out for too long.
That's great. So, an unfortunate event has a silver lining after all.
Right. God bless me for that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it worked out all right for you guys.
It's been an adventure.
Oh, I'm sure. You have standard options available for people to just buy, but you also have the custom items you mentioned. Can you tell us what kind of custom items you have?
We can do, one of my favorites are our pathtag shirts or hats. If you have your design for a pathtag, we've partnered with pathtags.com, and we can get the art direct from them and print your pathtag design on a shirt. Um, there's my pathtag right there on my hat. We also have it on, hold on, I think I have one right here. Hold on. Yep, coffee mugs, just about anything you want to print it on. Um, and if you have a specific design idea for something else, like if you and your friends always go geocaching together and you want a shirt design, like Bob geocaching team or something, I can work up some design and you know see if you like it or not, and I can print that for you. So
Yeah, you actually did the trackable GeoGoat bandana for me,
yes,
and it turned out
yes,
awesome.
yeah, I did. that was that was a I'd never done anything for a goat before, so that was interesting,
First time for everything.
right? Matter of fact, we just got a new product I posted online today, that I'm taking pre-orders for our next 3 events. It's a safety vest, like a safety orange vest, and it says Geocache Search Team on the back, and then right below the waist, it says stay 528 feet back. It should be on the it should be on the home page of our on my page.
I saw that on Facebook. It looks really awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say is your best selling product?
Um, well, it seems like one of our best-selling designs was one that we call Four Corners. It's a it's just a standard compass rose on the front, and at all cardinal points it just says geocaching, geocaching, geocaching. Um, and if you yeah, that's always a top seller. Um, and I will say that's not my design. That came up. That was an idea from another geocacher and the DTC Bears and Mathmate. That was their design, and um, so if I make a design for somebody, if it sells very well, I will reimburse you the price of your shirt that you bought from me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You have so many products on your website. How do you decide what to take to events? I imagine you can't take everything with
Oh,
you.
oh goodness! If I have no space if I took everything. Um, how do I choose? Well, it's a combination of what I know has been selling, and uh, there's always right in the middle, the front middle of my table, is always some of the newest designs. They're usually right where my banner is that says across the table, it says Arted Crafted. It's a white banner. Those are usually the newest designs. Um, but if um, what was it? My wife and I always argue over different designs on which ones will sell and which ones won't. She's like, "Oh, that one, nobody likes that. It's horrible." And then I'll print it on a shirt and it'll sell. Um, there have been times when I've come up with ideas that didn't sell at all. Um, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know this one's gonna sell." Matter of fact, I came up with this design and it said all it was some font. It said what part of, and then it had a Rot 13 cipher across the front, and then it said, "Don't you understand?" And if you can just read Rot 13, it would say, "What part of Let's Go Geocaching don't you understand?" And nobody bought it.
Yeah, I don't know many people that can just read Rot 13, but
Yeah,
I like the idea. It's a fun idea, but yeah, that's a hard one to.
right.
What would you say is your favorite design?
Well, I gotta say this one is one of my favorites because it's my first. Um, but my favorite design, mm, one that sells well. No, um,
That's
um,
fair.
I gotta say one of my favorite designs was is we have some Bigfoot themed designs, and those are always fun. I got two of them. One that says I want to be the one that finds a geocache with Bigfoot, and the other Bigfoot design says I found a geocache with Bigfoot, and nobody believes me either.
I love that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had somebody reach out wanting to do a custom design that you could not do for some reason? Copyright or technical issues or some reason that you could not do a design?
Well, I automatically tell people that I can't do anything that's a copyright. So if they bring me something with some other art, um, I'll tell them I can't use that because of copyright. But to this point in time, I think no. Once I if Usually if it's because of copyright, they're just like, well, I understand, and I think it's only happened like once or twice. And then of course we came up with a workaround. So there's always ways to get around copyright as long as um, the copyright law says as long as you're doing it in parody or the image is changed by so much of a percentage. So, matter of fact, well, I have a shirt that I put out for a couple years ago with for May the 4th be with you day, and it's got Darth Vader, or I took Darth Vader and blended it with Signal the Frog, and so I have what I call Darth Signal on the front, and it says, "I find your lack of geocaching disturbing."
Nice. And since you blended the two together, I
There's
guess it fell into the parody slash change percentage.
Yep, yep, exactly. But it's not really Signal, so because you mesh them two up together, it's a whole new character. But you can look at it, green Darth Vader with an antenna coming out of his head, and instead of the lightning bolts, I put like the Wi-Fi signal coming off the top of the antenna.
Okay. So there are ways.
Yes,
I imagine you have to be very careful though when you invoke those.
I was more concerned about um, Disney coming after me for than HQ.
Yeah, I think I would be too if I had to pick one of those to be worried about. Yeah. Oh gosh. Not a battle you'd want to find yourself
Oh no, I would just stop. I'm like, yep, nope, stop selling that. Sorry.
in.
Uh,
Has there ever been anything that you didn't realize was copyrighted that you put out that you found out later and had to pull?
um, I had a custom job that someone asked me to do for their nephew, and I got the art, found the art on the internet, and before I told him I could print it, I looked it up, and it was a cartoon character from like over 70 years ago, and I think it was like almost 80 years old. So I sent it into my printer thinking, oh, it's out of copyright. But apparently Warner Brothers renewed the copyright on that like 10 years ago. So they said they couldn't print it. And I didn't even think that would have been an issue. But uh, what was the cartoon character? I can't remember the name of the cartoon character, but it was a large baby duck with a wore diaper from like the 50s or 60s or something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the guy, but they said nope. They shut me down on that.
Interesting. Well, it's
I
good that
tried to
they were
work with
able
this
to
guy,
double
and
check it.
yeah. Well, since then I found out that they have software that scans all new art, so I run it through that now. Before, if someone brings me art, I run it through that and find out if it's copyrighted or not.
That's got to help a lot.
Yes.
So you mentioned with your custom path tag shirts that you had to partner with path tags to be able to do those. What was that process like?
When I first started doing that, doing path tags, I needed people to supply the art for me. Um, and then the art they were providing most of the time was not the exact quality that I needed to be able to get the best quality prints. They'd send me a small JPEG, usually 500 by 500, of their art. Now that is exactly what pathtag says that they want when you submit art to them. Um, but when I do it, I need 2400 by 2400 PNG or better. That gives you a higher resolution and actually makes all of your lines crisp and clear when you print them out. But now, basically, what happened was I was spending hours trying to clean up people's art to make it decent to print. And I just reached out to pathtag, and it was like, I told them who I was and what I was looking to do, and I just sent them an email, and I never heard back from them. One day we were at the following summer after I sent that email, Mike from Pathtags came over to me and he's like, "Hey, I got your email some months ago and I never replied back to you. And yeah, I think we can work together on this." So he's been a big help with helping me because I promote the Pathtags, and it's another way to get their name out as well. And people just love wearing their whatever their favorite path tag is. Most recently I had a customer who's now ordered from me 3 different path tags of their design on hats, shirts, mugs, pullover sweatshirts, 3 different tags. And yeah, she's a wonderful, wonderful lady. So I love working with all of my clients.
Has anybody ever tried to order somebody else's path tag art?
Not to my knowledge. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. Somebody told me they wanted to order a path tag. They wanted their sister's path tag um, because they wanted to give it to her as a birthday present. And I told them I couldn't do that because she owns that art. Um, so she had to tell her sister, and then her sister had to email me, "Yes, it's okay if, you print my art." And I kind of had to burst her bubble on that, but she loved it anyway.
Oh, that's kind of funny. So if people are interested in getting the products, they can go to you at an event, obviously, if you're there.
Mhm.
But if they want to see the full catalog, you have your website.
Mhm.
Is that the best way to reach out to you and to order things just through the website?
Well, if all you want to do is order, yes, you can go through the website, arted, ARTED, crafted, CRAFTED.com. And you can pick and choose what you want. Um, there's also an option on there to customize your shirt. So if you want your name on the back with your trackable code, you can add that as an option as well. But if you just need to reach out to me about some custom work that you want done, you can always email me, Shawn, SHAWN, at artedcrafted.com.
Okay. If people have a concept that they want, but they don't have artwork, is that something you're able to work with them and help them design?
Yeah, we can call them, we can do a Zoom meeting or whatever to figure out what they want and try and nail down some specifics. I can throw some art together and, like, hey, is this what you're looking for? Something like this? Or no, that's trash. I want to go some other direction, and, it didn't have this, or it needs to have that, or, usually, um, I haven't done too many shirts like that, but um, when I have, it's been basically I just get an idea as to what they're looking for, put something together, and we go from there.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about Arted Crafted?
Hmm. Well, I have been looking into um, I'm looking into expanding into some other types of apparel. Um, I'm considering trying to make a line of shoes, geocaching themed, but I'm still looking for a vendor that can actually put those together for me. So, but other than that, I got um, hats of all kinds. I can do stocking caps. I can do ball caps. I can do mugs, tumblers, shirts, obviously. Um, unisex men's shirts, V-necks for women, or almost any kind of style shirt you might want. Matter of fact, the last Mingo Madness, I did an all-over print Hawaiian themed shirt because this town of Colby, Kansas, where the event was, calls themselves the Oasis of the Plains, and they got
Wow.
some palm trees there. So, yeah.
Nice. So everybody should definitely check out the website to take a look at everything that's offered. There's a lot on there.
Uh,
There's a lot on that
yeah,
website.
and if you know how to, if any you or any of your viewers know how to maybe make a website more user friendly, shoot me an email. Because my
As soon
wife
as I figure
says,
that out, I'll let you know.
yeah, my wife says it is very chaotic. I'm lucky it looks the way it does.
I mean, it looks pretty good. It's easy to navigate. It's there's just a lot on
Yeah.
it. There's a lot of designs to sort through for sure. Let's see. We covered all the questions I had, unless there's anything else. I know you just mentioned the shoes.
Um,
Um,
no, that's I think goodness, I love going out and traveling to events and meeting new people and sharing what I have with the public. Um, Part of the things only thing that really frustrates me in this business is the I actually was at an event in Alabama, the Bamarama, and found one of my shirts that never sold, but apparently somebody uh, acquired the image and made it for themselves.
oh,
Yes, so not a fan of that, but I don't know how you keep people from doing stuff like that. But
yeah, that's a tough
it
one in this
it,
day
it
and
was it was
age.
it took a lot to keep me from um, really going off. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts." I'm like, "I bet it is."
Wow.
Yeah. So I put that design up. I think it was during COVID. I put it up, and nobody bought it. Um, and so I just took it down. I didn't sell any, so why keep it up there? And I see this one lady walking around with it on, and I'm just like, I was like, really, really?
So there was no doubt that
Oh
it
no,
had
no,
been
it
hijacked
it had
and
it was a little bit changed, but not enough for me to know, not enough for me to think that that wasn't my design. I don't want to go
yeah,
into it specifically.
that's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, I was like, I told my wife, I took a picture of this lady's shirt. She's like, "Oh, here, take it. Here, take a look at it." I'm like, "I'm gonna send this picture to my wife. Oh, I like it so much." I sent it to my wife, and um, she had some words to say to me. I'm glad my wife wasn't there because she wouldn't have been able to control herself. But
I wouldn't blame her one bit. Like that is insane.
I mean, I understand. You don't know who you're gonna see when you're out. You know, but I'm certain she didn't. And I called her on it, and she said, "Oh, because I asked her, I was like, hey, where did you find that shirt at?" She goes, "Oh, I don't know. I found it somewhere on the internet. Here, let me look for it." And she's on her phone, and she's like looking and looking and looking. And she's like, "I don't seem to be able to find it now." And I looked her straight in the face, and I was like, "I know you can't find it because it was my shirt, and I took it down years ago because nobody bought it." And she's like, "Oh, but it looks so good on me." I'm like, "Urgh."
Wow.
Yeah. So no, that's that. It's just been crazy. Um, So I do love one of the things I do like to do when I'm out geocaching is just meet up with other cachers and do what other cachers do. Just go find some geocaches somewhere. Um, and and what's the other thing we like to say at our, whoops. camera fell. Um, if you're going to support, if you're going to support if you're going to buy a geocaching shirt, buy it from another geocacher, because all of those geocaching shirts you find online, they're probably not made by other geocachers. And I can promise you that a good 90% of them are not printed here in the United States. Um, so, if you're going to support geocachers, at least support a geocacher t-shirt company in your state or country, wherever that may be, whether it's United States or Canada or UK or wherever you live. Um, Preferably, I'd prefer you to buy them from me, but support your local economy and your local companies, because uh, if I could do this by myself without a full-time job, I would, but it covers the bills of just keeping itself alive.
Yeah, that can be hard enough to do for sure.
I
But
can do
you also have designs that you can't find anyplace else.
all of the designs on my website are just that, 100% my designs. I come up with the ideas myself, um, between my wife, you know, a kid or two might have an idea and I'll work it up, but usually these designs are all of my own concept. Um, and people asked me before, where do I get my ideas? And I was like, well, you've all been out somewhere doing something with somebody, and somebody said something, and you're like, hey, that should be on a shirt, and I can do that now. So now, put some. When I do come up with a design, I like to put a little twist or some humor to it, uh, just to make you chuckle a little bit, maybe. So,
Definitely. Well, you definitely have some awesome products, and I've ordered a couple of things from you, and I have loved them, and the quality has been excellent.
thank you.
I can speak from experience on that. So I highly recommend people to check out your website because there's so much. It's almost overwhelming just how much you have on there, but there's some really great stuff.
Oh, there's times when I just get idea after idea after idea, and I just pump them out. And my wife is like, "You need to slow down. Stop putting stuff out there." And then for the past, I don't know how many months, I've just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere with anything. Nothing, I had no ideas coming through, and um, I just threw together some designs just because, well, I got to do something, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it, and I don't know what happened. But when we were coming up on January this year, I had design after design after design that I came up with, and my wife's like, "Don't put them out right now. Save them for the events." So, yeah, we always come up with at least one or two new designs at every event that we go to.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, well, we want to make sure we have at least one thing brand new for people to see when they come to our table. Whether you go to a lot of events or, uh, one or two events a year, you're going to see something new on our table. But we've got designs that have been on our table since day one. Um, but because they just keep selling. And there's other designs that have been on the table for maybe 1 year and don't sell too well, so uh, they get sold in, what was it, grab bags. We take every year any shirts that we felt didn't move too well, we put them in a grab bag and sell them for $15. And you come to our table and you'll just see this giant pile of um, paper bags. They have sizes on them, and they're $15 a piece. You don't know what you're going to get, and it tells you what size it is, so you can pick one, so you know it's going to fit you. And people love them; they eat them up. They'll just devour them. And I kind of fought. That was my wife's idea, and I actually fought her on this. I was like, no, no, we're losing money on this. And she's like, yeah, we're losing money by transporting them and not selling them. So, sorry, fine, we'll sell them as grab bags. And oh my goodness, that was That was the hottest ticket of the event. We sold more grab bags than we sold any other single design on our table. So,
Wow.
it's just little money, a little profit is better than no profit,
Yeah, and I imagine it also helps because otherwise you have stock that's just sitting around
Right?
if it's not selling, so it resolves that issue as well.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, what was it? Were they Midwest Geobash? It's one of our absolute favorite events, and we've been doing grab bags at Midwest Geobash for 2, 3 years now, and I got people who will meet me at my campsite when we first move in on Wednesday of the event, and they're like, "Do you have grab bags? I gotta get some of them grab bags." Last year we did mystery boxes. We had 2 mystery boxes of, and we sold them for $60 a box, and in it had what, $80 retail value of stuff inside. And one lady came back to me and she says, "I didn't get my money's worth for this box." And in it was an ammo can, $20 value, a T-shirt token, it's almost a $30 value, and some other swag that was like, I think it's like $20 for the other swag that we put in there. And I had to show it all off to her. I was like, "This is worth this much. This is worth this much. This is worth this much. You got $80 worth of stuff for $60." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't even see the T-shirt token there. I just thought it was full of the other swag."
Wow.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
Were the
it
boxes popular?
we only had 2 that year. I don't know if we're gonna do any more this year or not, but um, we'll see. We'll try and do something with that. Yeah, they sold before I was even open on day one. Um, One guy asked me on Wednesday, and I told him about the mystery boxes, and he goes, "Well, save me one." All right, so I saved him one. I only had one more left. We were open up for like 5 minutes on Friday, the day of the event, and it was gone. The lady came up, and she said, "Well, what's in the box?" I said, "I can't tell you. It's a mystery box. It's full of geocaching stuff." And I said, "You're gonna get your money's worth out of that. I promise you that." And she bought the other one, so I think she bought some swag,
Wow.
some the what do we call them? Grab bags. I thought she bought like a couple grab bag T-shirts and some other stuff, but it was uh, always an adventure. The other thing we started doing this year is we started taking our dog with us to events, and
Oh,
well, this is the second year that we've had our dog, and um, when it comes to animals, I'm an advocate for, train your animal to behave appropriately. I don't care how big or small your animal is. If you don't train your dog to behave, or your cat, they're going to behave like they want to. Um, this is where you get the little yappy dog who might become aggressive to people when you don't want them to be, or the big dog, or whatever size animal it is. But anyway, so we took Nala to on our adventure this year from January to March, and we she was fine. She just stayed in the car, not in the car, but we tethered her to the door so she wouldn't run off. But she just kind of hung out in the back, and everybody pet her, and she was happy as a clam back there. And our next event in Bamarama, we purchased um, like a pop-up kennel kind of thing, and we feed her and water her, and like you normally do, but make sure she's taken care of. But she would just hang out in there and behaved and didn't cause a problem at all. So um,
I'm sure she loved all the attention.
oh, she loved it, loved it, loved it. And we had, on more than one occasion, in fact, we went to a Texas Challenge, and I went to one of the pre-event of meet and greets, and it was at a restaurant, and because I had Nala, we sat out on the patio, and another lady came in with a small dog with a service vest, and the waitress complimented me, and she said Nala, our dog, was behaving better than the service dog that was in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, well, thank you.
That's something. Because those
I,
service dogs, the amount of training they have to go through, that's
well,
insane.
I have an opinion about the service vest. Um, if you have a seeing eye dog or a heart attack dog or some kind of medical dog that can sniff out whatever medical thing you have going on, okay, those dogs go through a lot of training. But if you have what they call an emotional support dog, there's nobody to certify that. Just because the dog makes you feel better, or I don't know. Yes, you can pay somebody online to get you a certificate that says your dog is an emotional support dog, and you put a little vest on them, and next thing you know, our society says you can't question them on it. And uh, I've seen all kinds of animals out there like that, and I don't know how a misbehaving animal is an emotional support and animal if they're just running around all over the place and barking. 9 times out of 10, I've seen those animals that are actually carried through the wherever they're at. Um, like I don't know. I don't get it. Still train your animal. That's all I ask. I don't care what kind of animal it is.
Yeah, just be a responsible pet owner.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. Well, Shawn, thank you so much for joining me today and talking to us about arted crafted and geocaching. It has been a lot of fun chatting with you today.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Geocache Adventures with me, Shadow Dragon 1. If you'd like to get in touch, you can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or go to geocacheadventures.org and you can find the information on the contact page. Theme music is by The Travel Bugs. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have you heard of FTF Magazine? It's the magazine for geocachers. It is full of articles and pictures all submitted by geocachers just like you. I'm a subscriber myself, and I love it. My favorite part is the little snippets on the edges of the articles on all the different pages. Those are my favorites. Just go to ftfgeo.com to check them out and tell them Shadow Dragon 1 sent you.